So I'm just going to make it very brief. The first person I'll be bringing on the stage is Rotimi Akinfenwa, also known as Rotimi Keys. A round of applause for him, please. So he's known professionally as Rotimi Keys. He's a multi-award-winning Nigerian music producer, singer, songwriter, arranger, multi-instrumentalist, sound engineer, sound designer, and consultant. He is the CEO of SONG23 Productions. He has produced several music jingles, television commercials, sound designs, and he has provided sound support for notable advertising campaigns in Nigeria and other parts of West Africa for flagship brands such as MTN, Gulda, Konga, Amstel Malta, Glow. I think that is huge. Etisalat, Jumia, Pepsi, Indomie, Peak Milk, Power Pasta, and DSTV, just to mention a few. The next person I'm going to be bringing on the stage is Edidiong Amama Ekwere. And she is it's like a lot of artists that are self-taught. She's a self-taught artist who began sketching and drawing to capture the beauty of life. Her first experience as an artist was creating comic books and cartoons, doodling on her notebooks and anything else. Even with a fulfilling career in geoscience and over 20 years of experience in business strategy, digital business transformation, quality management, process improvement, customer experience and insights, and product management, Amama remains fascinated by the intersections between science and art, and is a firm believer in the power of art as therapy. Because our time is fast spent, I'm just going to ask you very quickly one general question, and that is the fact that we live in very uncertain times, from recession. There's been inflation, it's still ongoing, we don't know when it's going to end, and there is the impending elections. A lot of people don't know, what's going to happen with the elections and all of that. So a lot of uncertainty. And now, what do you think how can music or painting or other forms of creativity help us to deal, heal, and win today and in the future?
I thank you for that. So, yes, it's a challenging times, and as all the previous speakers have said, you just have to learn to internalize. Now, what art therapy does is to help you gain a deeper understanding of yourself. When you put pencil, pen, brush to paper or canvas, in art therapy, what you're trying to do is heal. So art therapy really speaks towards the dealing and the healing if it's done in the right way. It also helps you to it helps you find flow. I remember Bankole spoke about flow earlier on, and art is one of the ways which you can find flow. Using this, the techniques under art therapy, you're able to connect with yourself on a deeper level. You're able to understand what's happening to you, why it's happening to you, and then you're able to process it better. And in so doing, you're able to then deal and heal.
Thank you very much. And I absolutely agree with you as somebody who took on art myself last year. And it was a coping mechanism for me, actually, because I was dealing with a lot in my family. So thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go to Rotimi, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay. I think music is the more obvious one out of the more obvious child in the family. And I think that I like to be as practical as possible. I think to an extent, we're already doing that. We probably just don't know we're doing it yet. How many of us have smartphones here? How many of you have music on your phone? How many of you listen to at least one track sometime during the day? Most of us are trying to deal with something. We just don't realize it. You're in traffic. You just got a call. You're trying to sleep at night. Or you wake up in the morning, you're trying to wash dishes, something. You need something to keep your mind on what you're doing or to distract you from that thing you're doing into something else. You put on a song. You want to feel good about yourself. You go on social media, you try to watch a skit. What opens the skit? It's a song. So most of us are already using that. We're probably just not maximizing it yet because we don't know that we're doing that. We're using the music and sounds and stuff like that to cope with what we're going through. That's the truth.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So my next question is, I'm going to ask you one question, Amama. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, right? So what was your starting point of your journey in art and thereafter art therapy? And how did you end up in such an unconventional and uncommon career? What's your why, basically?
Okay, so what's my starting point? I can't even really say what my starting point is because I'm from an artsy family. Let's put it that way. So from my dad's side of the family, there's always a kid out of his siblings that's in art. So I've always sketched and doodled and played with art. But as you know, most parents don't want you to do art. So I had to find a balance. However, I do have a very sciencey side, so I want to know why things tick. I want to understand everything sciencey. I've been told I'm a bit of a geek. I don't think I am, but yeah. So I had to find a way to marry the two. I worked as a geologist for 13 years, and art had to take a back seat while I was exploring that. But there was a point in time where I wasn't enjoying my job as much. I felt like it was taking a little too much out of me, and I just didn't feel like I was making the waves I thought I was going to make, climbing the corporate ladder. And art came back into my life at that point. And I used it as a coping mechanism. The other aspect about using art as therapy is that when I found that my joy in painting and just creating. So I love to see how something at the back of my mind becomes a reality on a canvas, on a t-shirt, a bag. So that pushes me. And then I just really enjoy helping people in that way. So that's how I started art therapy.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your journey. My question, this question is for Rotimi Keys. How would you say that your skills and work experience as an artist have transferred into art and sound therapy?
Okay, because what I do spans across different uses. I have to create music for artists, for bands, but then I also have to create music for brands. I have to create music to picture. So one thing I sort of learned early in life was how to make different types of music, right? To convey different moods and all that, anger, hate, love, despair, all that. I learned in a very unconventional way. I literally self-taught myself, over the years. But I think that was also what helped me in getting into this space so much that different types of brands are asking for different types of music or sound at different times. And for me, that was the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but that was more where I dived into emotional, what I would call emotional music and sound and design and all that. And for me, over the years, I realized that music can shape any emotion, whatsoever it is. Music can start an emotion. Music can stop an emotion. Music can confuse you. It is what it is. That's why when you watch movies nowadays, I say movies are 55% what you watch, 45% what you hear. That's the truth. In my own personal opinion, you can back movies and watch it and still understand. But you can turn off the sound and you will probably not understand as much as if you're listening to it. So at the end of the day, those things are the things that seep into your subconscious to control what you now start to think. So as far as I'm concerned, I know that music has the power to shape, to either start, or to stop, alter whatever it is you're going through. I think people just don't understand. People are not conscious of that fact, even though they go through it every day. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah. Are you coming to us? Okay. So one more question each for both of you, and that is, I'm going to go to Amama. So for people who don't necessarily have access to an art therapist or art materials, what do you think are the simple ways that they can apply the same principles in their own lives at home?
Okay, so I think it's really easy to apply art therapy techniques or actually practice any form of art therapy at home, whether you've got materials or not. So you can dabble in. Everybody has a pen or a pencil and a sketchbook or a notebook or something. That's pretty much enough. You can also paint, and you don't have to use the conventional things to paint, right? You can use coffee grounds. You can food coloring. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be paint. It's anything that can like perhaps produce a mark or produce color. You could also indulge in photography. So you'd notice that the subjects you pick to photograph, the angles you take when photographing will always kind of be reminiscent of what's going on your inside if you are able to pay attention. If you got a tablet, even your smartphones in your hands, there's so many apps out there for digital art, so you can actually just download something and scribble. You can collage, so magazines, newspapers, you can collage, you can sculpt, and sculpting, you can get modeling clay, but you don't have to limit yourself. I'm almost certain almost all of us did our art projects in primary school where we use papier-mâché. Yep, so you can do that and then, create it at home, sculpt. You can sew. Sewing is a form of art. Just picking up your fabric and cutting out those pieces and stitching them together. That's art. And you can also write. So you can then marry art with music, write a few songs, write some poems that get converted to songs. And some specific things that you could do is like visual journaling. So I'm sure beginning of the year, so many people want to do vision boarding. And vision boarding is a static event. You generally just do your vision boards and you moved on. But taking on from that, you can vision journal. So you can get a notebook and instead of just writing down your dreams, you can journal instead and nice little pictures. And you don't have to be an artist. It can be a stick man, but it's your art and it conveys the feeling and the meaning that you want. And that's what's important. You can do visual music pieces. So you can listen to a piece of music and then you can sketch out what that music is making you feel, what imagery is forming at the back of your mind. You can do gratitude journaling. That's a form of art, interestingly, that some people don't seem to do all the time. But what I do is for like my gratitude journaling, I actually have created a group for myself on my WhatsApp and I call it my gratitude journal. And then every day I just try to drop something in there. So that is also a form of art. Sometimes I sketch stuff and I save it in there and I just go back over time and I look at that. And then over and above though, do remember, and then also coloring books. So do remember though that art therapy is not just what you do with yourself, but is also what you get out of it. So if you then can find like guided online classes or a therapist, then that then helps you to like be a little more introspective about what it is that you're doing. You understand why you're choosing certain colors, why you're drawn towards certain shapes. And then that then helps you to further unlock what it is that is on your insides.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing that. Now, the role of the internet or social media, and the question is, what has the internet or social media been helpful or in any way hurtful to art therapy and mental health in general? That's for Rotimi Keys.
I think there's the good side and I think there's the bad side. The good side is since the advent of social media, social media has helped people to be happy in some cases, kept people company. Social media has launched some people's careers. Social media has helped some people connect with people they probably would never have connected with, seek help, get help, networking, business, career, all that. But on the same social media, depression rate has gone up. So I think it's the same machine. It's just how you use it. I think that's the breaking ground. It's how you use. It's a tool. It's just like money. It's a tool. You can either decide to be a slave to it or master it. So for me, there's the good side and there's the bad side. You choose how you're going to use it. Short and yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. So just one rapid fire question. 3 words that aptly describe art and sound therapy. Amama.
I'd say healing, intuitive, and introspective.
Thank you. Rotimi.
I was going to say healing, actually. So there's that, there's soothing, there is spiritual. There is.
Thank you. Thank you very much.